Why are you laughing?
No, because like, okay, so do we introduce ourselves?
There's no need.
Okay, what is happening? So as at when was the last time we had a conversation? I'm trying to think.
We've had some
That
over like text conversation or just
was this podcast because we are podcasters now.
yeah, yeah, podcasters.
The last time I was waiting on God for something, it is that I collected a yes, it was a big Ella. And God was like, no. To be fair, like after a while, I knew that that was not going to happen because I'm like, it's like, did you ever watch Grey's Anatomy?
I watched bits of it, but then it just continued and it became too long.
Okay, you watched that episode where afterwards, Allison came back. I think that Derek wanted to try their mind in the beginning stages.
Okay,
Never
okay.
was.
I didn't watch that,
So,
yeah.
oh, anyway, but I'm going to tell you. So the wife came back, right? And then the girlfriend was like, okay, well, this is very awkward. But then she was like, pick me, choose me, love
Mm-hmm.
me. That's what I was doing for these people. Pick me, choose me, love me. And yet they still gave me a lot. But you know what? I feel like that conversation we had where you said that things that are not in your control and all of that. So I relinquished small control, just small. And then when I got there, I'm like, okay, no problem. You know, and then it's my when it happened, I told my parents, and my mom called me. Oh, it's okay. God do what is best. I'm like, no problem. And my
Mm-hmm.
daddy to everybody. I'm like, it's fine. You know, to be fair, I cried more when I was waiting for it. So Della was okay, cool. And I'm like, okay,
Sorry.
oh, it's okay, it's fine. And then what else? I got into a small accident, just small, not
With
too
your
big.
car.
Not very small, very small. I know what we can talk about. Okay, small accidents, right? So it was last week Tuesday. I had I was going to work. I also picked up my friend on my way to work, right? And it was raining. And like Cape Town rain is like I don't grab. But anyway,
Yeah, Cape
it's
Town's really
raining.
that can be hectic here.
It's very upset. So we are driving. And then I hear the sound behind my car. I'm like, Father, I come down from the car. It is raining. Someone hit me.
Oh
Another
no.
person. So it was a three joined together. And I was so annoyed because I
Wow.
was so close
So
to work.
was the road slippery or like was there ice on the road? What happened?
It was slippery. Right?
Oh, a three-car
So
collision.
then the police was around the area for a very weird reason. Police now said that we should go to the other side. Went to the other because I was on the right,
Yeah.
and then we left. So we're exchanging numbers, all of that. I didn't know what to do in this. I've never been in one of these before. So I called
Mhm.
my dad like, hey, hope you're great. Listen, they've hit my car. He's like, are you? I'm like, no, 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 all is well, all is well. Just small dents. The dent, yes, that's where I'm going. So now my car did not go through a lot. It was, my car looks like the back. There's a
Mhm.
black thing at the bumper. There's not a dent inside the
Okay.
black.
Okay.
Good. But the guy that hit me, he's going through things because it was like his
The
own
front of
the
his
whole
car.
the front was not too bad because it's a small car. She doesn't cause too much damage. But the back of his car, it was the polo road that hit him. So it was like the back is just inside. Anyway, we exchanged numbers. We did all of that. We went to police station. It was very annoying more than anything. But now, this is where I'm getting someone. So my dad is like, no, insurance, this, what, they will pay. Very good. I take pictures of the car. I do everything I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So now the I say that to fix these dents, these small dents,
Mm-hmm.
is 5,900.
Okay.
Now, mhm, now when because I'm under my daddy's insurance, right? When we did the whole, can you? I'm not quite fluent in insurance speak, but I have an excess of 5,000. So what that is meaning
Oh,
is
that
that
means that you pay 5,000, they will pay 900.
very good. Do you get?
Oh, geez.
As my was explaining this to me, I'm like, I can drive it like that. He's
Yeah.
like, no, you can't. I'm like, no, I can't. He's like, where you want to trade it to? I'm like, I won't trade it to. He's like, you can't drive that car forever. I'm like,
Do you want to try me?
he's like, you can't. I'm like, that's not bad. If you look at it, unless you look too much, you get. Then it's like, no, we have to fix it, and then my way will try and claim from that guy. I'm like, you are thinking that I have 5,000. Therein lies the problem, number one. He's like, no, I will meet you halfway. I'm like, you will meet me at zero because there's nothing to meet. Do you understand?
I'm not in the mood
There's,
to spend even 2,500 on this.
I didn't do anything. I was on my
Yes, you're
way.
responsible for 5 grand. But the other guy's insurance should cover it because, I mean, I think insurance in South Africa, if you have comprehensive, would include third party insurance.
Mm.
So his insurance should pay for it. It shouldn't be your problem.
But the thing, the way it's looking is that I will first pay for it. Then they may or may not refund me. That you see, I don't like
Wow.
probability like that. Do you get? So that all of that to say we should speak about money today. That
Okay,
is where I'm
let's talk about money.
going. Because I will be very honest with you, I am not other people's money. I can help them manage it. Do you get? And
And
I
that's
don't
what you do
spend
for a living. So,
do this, do that. You know what I'm saying? My
mhm.
own is like, first of all, I've, I'm so shy. The thing is, before I moved outside, when I was staying at home,
Yeah.
I'm
Maybe
like, there's
project a bit
money.
because your voice is getting a bit lower.
Oh, okay. I said before when I was staying at home,
Yeah.
I was spending money because there's money, I will spend it. Why?
Mhm.
I didn't pay rent. I was not paying for anything. I was spending. But it's not even like too much spending, bang. It's like, I go to this scam. I could lack that.
Like
I'll
a
buy.
money grabbing cyclone. Like the moment you go into this
You
camp, you go to buy
see,
one thing, you leave with like 15 different things.
you
There's one
get,
in Canada here called Shoppers Drug Mart as well, which is quite similar.
you see, it's not my fault.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so throughout the years, like when I started working, like 2019, I had savings a bit, right? But then I went to I went to Nigeria in December. I bought
30 December.
bed. I bought bed because I used to sleep on a single bed when I
Mm,
was still in varsity. Then when I was now back home, I'm like, I need a big bed, as far to reflect my stature in society. So I bought a queen bed. My parents were not with me. They said the bed you have is fine. I'm like, I want to roll on the bed. So I bought bed. That was 2019. 2020, I'm not quite clear where my money went. I don't know. Between me and you, I have no idea. 2021 also, not quite clear. Now, after I had finished and it was looking like I'm going to leave home
mm-hmm.
when I moved to Cape Town. So as per the move and all of that, my parents were like, "How much do you have?" I'm like, "Meaning?" They're like, "For this move, for this move, how much do you have?" I'm like, you
As
know,
in
you know,
what?
when Peter and who were like silver and gold have I not? That was me. I have, I have nothing. So all this time, I'm like, see, let's not cry over what I have done, what I have not done, and all of it. Then the move, all of that happened. And then it started dawning on me that you will pay rent, you will pay this, you will pay that. And like by the time everything goes, there's not much to save now. You get.
Mm-hmm.
So the time when there was more to save, I
Yeah.
didn't save. Now that I've thought about my life, the savings is, could I save? Yes, I could.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I'm like, okay, but if I die now, somebody else is going to take that money. Is it that I will not do my nails, I will not do my hair, I will not, do you get what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
I have rearranged myself to be like, at least put small money aside. Do you get?
Yeah.
Between me and you and the people that listen to this podcast, I could afford that 5,000. But the hard earned money that I put aside to pay for panel bill, that God forbid, it cannot happen. So I say all of that to say that we should discuss money.
Okay.
What has been your relationship with money
Mm.
before? Has there been a before, a during, a now?
Okay. That's good. Question about money, my relationship with money. So I think first thing I would say is that, and this is a misconception a lot of people have. Like when people meet me, they assume I'm from a very wealthy family. And I've been told that I present that way, which by the way
Mm,
is not something I do. Like I don't scheme in my house to be like, so when I go out there, I'm going to do this and then I'll do. No, I
mm,
think just the way people perceive me, it's just like, oh, this person looks like she's got a lot of money. Well, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. So I think my relationship with money was pretty much something that I had to manage.
mm,
When I first moved from Nigeria to South Africa, when I was 16, my parents didn't have a lot of money. They had paid my fees for final year of high school, grade 12. And then it was really a matter of, okay, the rest is up to you. Um, like, yeah, they would send me money, but it was going to be money they sent once every 3 months. And I had to budget for 3 months, basically. So I
yeah.
can see your face. You're like, huh? So I had to budget for 3 months ahead, like every 3 months, basically. I got an apartment with two of my mom's friends' daughters.
Mm,
It was a one bedroom apartment, three of us shared it. So, I mean, we were teenagers or whatever. So I had a single bed, like the one you had. And they
mm.
had like those beds that are like single and three quarters, like the one that's not a double bed, but it's almost a double.
Kind of bed is very confusing because what are we trying to achieve also? Like where are we going? But I know the bed we're talking about. Mm,
So that was the bed they had for two of them. So both of them would sleep on
mm,
that bed. I would sleep on a single bed. And then we obviously had the living room open. And the way we split the rent was I paid one third of the rent because we were three, and they
mm,
paid two-thirds. And obviously my life was just centered around manage money. But
mm.
there was a day I woke up and I heard both of them speaking, and they had said, "Oh, we need to make sure Demi starts paying half of the rent by
Because
the beginning of next month because we come from one family. We are one purse. So she can't, even though we were sharing the same bedroom, I know. So she can't be paying a third. And the reason why I'm telling this story is not even to talk about that. We can talk about whatever that dynamic was in another thing. But the point of it was the new month where I was supposed to start paying this rent was starting in about 2 or 3 days. And remember, I said my parents sent me money 3 months at a time because there was a fixed budget. So my budget was thrown off because now the rent had suddenly increased. I tried to plead with them to say, oh no, let's maybe make it the next cycle when I get money, but nobody was budging. So I had to start paying half of the rent, which meant that other things got affected, like eating and things like that. So my relationship with money, just basically from the background, has always been just manage money, right? And so for a long time, I would deny myself a lot of things because money for me was just, I had to manage it. But then as I started to become more, should I say comfortable, as I achieved more, I became more comfortable because I had more opportunities. I noticed that I still struggled with spending money because I was afraid of not having enough money.
mm,
So that
I
was,
need that. That is what I More money, I'm like, good. What can I purchase to reflect that I have?
Yeah, so like I think there was a time when I just struggled with like spending money because I was afraid that I wouldn't have enough, and also like it was just that thing of maybe I don't want to use the word trauma because I feel like that word is misused a lot, but it was
Mm,
just that sense of, oh my God, I won't have enough money if I spend this. So there were many things I would let go of, but there were things I also realized I was willing to spend money on.
mm,
Number one being food, right? Like
okay.
there was something that I felt like eating, I would spend money on it. And I mean, I'm still trying to reconcile why that is. But also, I'll tell
Mm,
you that things that I felt like eating were very cheap things, like donuts. So they were not really denting my budget in any way. But I think as I continued to grow older, I started to examine that relationship myself. And when I was in therapy, it was a conversation. This money thing was a
mm,
conversation because my therapist was basically she didn't tell me to quit my job, but she knew I was unhappy in my job and she kept asking why I was in that job. And I kept saying,
mm,
oh, but I need money and I need money. And then she's like, how much do you have in your savings? I remember around that time I was planning to move to Canada. So I had saved up quite a lot of money. But I
mm,
was still not comfortable with leaving my job because I was scared that if I left my job, I would never get something else. And then I would spend
mm,
this money and then I would not have money and then I would be destitute. And then I had all these
mm,
things. And she was like, you need to interrupt that and start enjoying the money you're working for. Like there's so much
mm,
that you earn
mm,
in your job, even though you might not like it, but you earn enough money to survive and to live well. You should spend that money. So I
mm,
started to re-examine bit by bit. But I would say it was still a struggle for the most part. I've only just come to a point where money is not a big deal for me in terms of spending it.
mm,
I consider myself now to be prudent and not frugal. Before I was
mm,
frugal. And when I say I was frugal, I mean I was frugal. Like if there's something they sell at the store and I can make it myself, even if it means I'll go to a place to go and pick pieces of plastic to make it, I would make it. That was me before.
mm.
You can't relate. That was me.
I
But
pay for convenience any day. I pay for convenience. That like when I was my like the thing you said with therapy, I remember in was last year.
hmm
The therapist I was seeing at the time was like, you need to look at your bank statements, right? I'm like, girl, I don't want to do that because I'm going to die. She's like, okay, but you have to do it. Like, you need to see where your money is going. That was where I saw that any small thing I have entered the scam, any small thing I have done. So, like, I now I'm cognizant of what it is I am spending money on and why. But convenience, I will pay for. I'm so sorry. I don't want to make it.
no, like
Mm,
I totally support that. I think I've now gotten to a point where I would pay for convenience happily. I would also pay for travel. So I'll tell you something. Because of the career I've had, I
mm,
traveled to countries without ever having to spend my own money. There was
small.
always a conference, something, or there was an award I won that would pay for the trip. So when
Mm,
it came to a point where I had to start booking holidays myself with my
mm,
own dollars, cents, rands, pounds, whatever it is, I would literally sit and think about it until I think myself out of it. That's how bad it was. Like
true.
I would
But
sit and think and think and think until the date will come and pass, and then it'll be like, ah, I couldn't book on time. Like that was the attitude. Like it was like, oh, this is not my fault. It was just time flew by
mm,
and I couldn't book on
mm,
time. But now I'm very aware that I do that. So I book my holidays like 3 months in advance. So there is no
mm,
excuse. Like if 3 months in advance I'm already thinking about the holiday, I don't have any excuse to say, oh, I couldn't book on time, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. I would still find the easiest way to get there, and it should be
mm,
easy and cheap. But that's me just
mm,
being prudent in the sense that if a train can get me there at the same time as maybe a luxury car ride or whatever, I'll take the train because the train will be cheaper.
mm,
So I would do that.
mm,
But I now pay for things I enjoy. Like I recently ordered some expensive cookware because I'm like, girl, why not? You see?
Can I tell you something? When my
Yeah.
mom came to Cape Town, she's like, So initially when I moved, we bought these pots, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're cute, they're black. But then I went home this one time and like she bought these other very cute pots. They were very cute and they're
Mm-hmm.
very colorful. I'm like, I like this. Do I cook like that? Not really. I've been forced to do it now that I stay by myself. So when she came here, she's like, no, Mariah, I'm going to buy pots because like I only had one big pot and she was coming to cook.
Mm-hmm.
She said she was going to visit, but she was really coming to cook. So she's like, I'm going to buy pots. That's how we went to check out. And I was looking, I'm like, that pot is so cute. So I hear you
Mm-hmm.
cute, but we
Yeah,
didn't end up buying it because it didn't make sense to me. Because I'm like, am I going to use it?
not
No.
really.
Mhm.
For me, I even bought it because also like I'm trying to upgrade and make sure my lifestyle is healthy all around. So
Oh,
like getting like ceramic cookware or something that's iron cast, enameled, like that sort of thing. So
yes,
yeah,
okay.
but in terms of like I mean, just coming back again to money, I think I would say that the friends that you keep can also influence your mindset about money. So I started to make friends with people who would pay for their own comfort and like things
Mm,
like, oh, let's go for a spa day, type of
mm,
thing. That wasn't something I would have considered
mm, mm,
years
mm,
before, right? I've like, if I need to massage myself, I will pour hot water on my body, like, or just buy, those machines they sell in Nigeria where you plug in, there's like an arm that's beating your back.
There's spa at home. Why are you going to spa? There's spa at home.
You understand?
Mm.
Like I would have bought that, but then I met friends who would be like, "Oh no, like as self care, let's go
Mm,
out for a glass of wine. Let's go out." So those things started to feel normal because I really like my friends and I want to spend time with them, and this is what they like to do for fun. So I'm like, yes, of course, I want to participate. I don't want to be left out because if I say I'm not going, that's not going to stop them from going, right? They're not going to
mm,
give that up. So I think that really helps me to start getting in the mood of, oh, okay, I'll buy a glass of wine and we will go out for dinner. There was one particular dinner I went out to with my friends. It was after my birthday, and my friend Dudu, she's one of my closest friends,
mm,
um, had suggested we go to a Greek restaurant in Johannesburg. And I think
mm.
that was the first time. Maybe we spent like 2,500 or something. I know. But
I
we
will
were
have
so
sleep.
uh,
I won't be able to sleep. Actually, no, I'm lying. I'm lying. I'm lying. If I'm going out with my friends, nothing is off the table. Whatever we want.
do you understand?
So,
Like I think the manager of the restaurant at some point started sending us free tequilas because of how much we had spent. We had an entire 3-course dinner. Like it
mm,
was a spread. And for each course, we ordered 3 different things
mm, mm, mm,
around the table. So it was like we were sampling all kinds of things. So it was like the starters and then the main course and the dessert. And then we had wine as well. And we had like I can't remember. There were even some guys there from Greece, interestingly, who were sitting
mm,
next to us and they're like chatting us up. But we were like, no, we're paying for ourselves. Like that's
mm,
that's where we were at. So I think over time, as I've achieved more and I've become comfortable with examining how I relate with money and how I was raised, which was with like a very frugal mindset, like you had to manage whatever you had and you had to be
mm,
content with whatever you could get.
mm,
I've sort of like evolved in my
mm,
spending. And now I would say I spend my money whichever way I wish on whatever I want. There are things I
mm,
wouldn't spend money on because I feel like they're not adding any value to my life in any way.
mm,
Like they don't make me feel good or feel better, whatever. But I've
mm,
noticed that
mm,
if I see something and I like it and I know I have the money to buy it now, I'll buy it.
mm. Fair. I feel like you see what you said about when you and Dudu went out. Like even now you remember it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many years after. I feel like sometimes I think the reason why I I spend the way I do is that something is still going to take that money. It might as well be something I enjoy. Do you get? For example,
Exactly.
like for the most part, not for the most part. So like the way I grew up, there was never a time where they just us out of the house because we didn't pay house rent or NEPA bill or anything like that. So my bills will be paid.
Mm-hmm.
I will pay for friends. I will pay for all of those things. And the things like that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy it. So I will pay for my Audible. I will pay for my Scribe. I will pay for entertainment, Netflix, all the girls. I have all of them. I
Yeah.
don't want to live for any thoughts whatsoever. But then there's now like, if my friends say, "Oh, let's go to a wine farm," I will be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it. But then it's like it's now, for example, like eating into the, let's say, for example, I want to save 3,000, right? But then because I am doing all these other needs for myself, then the money for savings is reducing. But I'm like, if we think about it also, you, as you can see, these things make me happy. Do you get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, why not?
Yeah. You're enhancing your life. Like I think for me, when I started to earn, there were
Mm,
obviously things I let myself enjoy because I felt like, oh, I haven't had this before and now I can afford it. So I will enjoy it. But they
mm,
were not big things because again, I'm someone who is like, I guess I'm adaptable is the way you can put it. Like I've adapted myself to this lifestyle of if I can't afford something, I will do without it. Like I won't even try to get someone to get it for me. I'll do without it. That's
mm,
just me. And so when I got to the point where I could afford it, there were things where I was like, oh yes, I can afford this little thing now. So I would go and I would get it. Like I mean, talking about it, this whole thing started when I was 16 in terms of my reflection. By the time I got to 22, it was like I could actually go to a restaurant and eat a meal of like 80 rands by myself. And that made me so happy, right? 80 rands is
mm,
not a lot of money.
mm,
Well, hopefully it can be a lot of money for some people. But
mm,
I'm just saying, like at that point for me, it felt like it wasn't a lot. So it was like, oh yeah, I can go out and I can do this. But increasingly, the more money I make now, the more I'm just like, I'll spend my money. Like I will look after myself. I'll give you an example. When I used to get a couch when I moved into my apartment here, and someone was like, "Oh, there's this place that sells couches for 300, 400." So I went to the place. I saw these couches, and I was like, "No, we shall not be doing this. It's a big fat no." They look like those old couches that like parents had in the 1980s, with like very thick legs, and then they were like weirdly shaped and stocky, and they just didn't look
mm,
nice. So I was just like, "It's a no for me."
mm,
So me back in the day would have been
mm,
like, "Oh, this 400 is it not to sit? As long as we're sitting, we're okay." But now
mm,
I'm like, I really want whatever has to do with me to be beautiful, and I
mm,
will pay for beauty.
mm,
That's now a thing. The more money I've made, like I used to go to an esthetician for my skin because my skin
mm,
had a lot of acne. I'm
mm,
talking 4 years ago.
mm,
I paid. I paid for the products. They were flipping expensive, but I was paying for them. I was going for all the treatments, doing the chemical pills because I was like, this is now something that I feel enhances my life. Like when I see beautiful faces and people, I become happy. So I'm willing to pay for beauty. So I think
mm,
deconstructing that whole thing, that relationship where I had like, oh, as long as we sit, and then it's like, well, I can't change my face. I have acne. So what? Now it's like,
mm.
actually, I can. I can pay for it if I want to. I can pay for it, and I'll rather pay. So yeah, things have
You
changed
know,
quite a lot.
I think for me it is managing that I don't have to do everything like now.
Mm,
Like when I moved in, there was like not similar to a couch, but sort of. I wanted like, what's it called? No hand soap. I wanted the foamy one,
mm-hmm,
right? Because I like that. But then at the time when we went to go and buy things for the bathroom, right? They were foamy, and they had this other thing that I'm like, it's soap. So I bought it. Like a few months, I would be looking at it. I'm like, I don't even like this thing.
yeah,
It was annoying me when I
mm-hmm.
would see it. I'm like, I don't like it. And I'm like, you're a woman of means. I took
Spend your money.
actually I took the soap. I put it inside handy. I'm like, you will not waste. I closed it and I threw the rest of it away. I also had like this like rack. This the lotion I threw away because it was not lotion. So I'm like, no, no problem. I went to the place where they are selling the soap that I like. And I bought the soap and I came home. I'm like, look at that. Lovely. I love that. And it is things like I've noticed that when I want something and there is a cheaper alternative, but the cheaper one won't, it will not do for me what that one will do for me.
Yeah.
The couch I bought, I'm very annoyed at that couch because I was like, it is couch, let me sit down.
Mm.
Whenever I sit down, I am annoyed. I'm like, you know what? In the grand scheme of things, how often do I sit? I actually sit there quite often. But like,
You know, one thing, there's a principle I have, which is buy it nice or buy it twice.
ew.
I read this, but it's stuck in my head and I can't remember where I read it. But it's buy it nice or buy it twice. It's better for you
Mm,
to put your money together and buy
mm,
the thing you like than buy
mm.
something you're not really sure you like. And then 2, 3 months down the line, you're trying to change it. That's what happened with my TV stand.
You see, TV and TV stand, I did not compromise. I told myself initially with the TV, so at home, when in 2021 or 2020, I was like, I need a TV in my room. Okay, also, this is where my money went in 2020. Very good. I remember now. Because we're working at home, right?
Mhm.
My room was before COVID. It was come back from work, you sleep, you go to work. There wasn't much, you know. But I'm like, I don't know how long I'm going to be in this house. Let's jazz it a bit. Also, my parents
Bed,
own the place. I
TV.
can cook as I please. We don't have to ask landlord, can I put hook here? Can I do this? So there was not like a remodeling, but like to make it nicer for myself. I got a desk, I got chairs, I got this, I got that, and all of that. There was this one day I was sleeping and the pillows I had, they used to hurt my neck. And then I woke up this one day and I'm like, Morayo, come on. You're a woman of means. I
Buy a
don't want
pillow.
pillow. I did all of that. Great. Anyway, this couch, where I was going with the TV. I wanted a TV like after end of 2020. But then the TV I wanted was a big TV.
Mm-hmm.
That big TV money, no. So I'm like, I will buy a smaller TV.
Mm.
Right? This TV has served me well all the times I was at home. Now the TV is just sitting there because nobody at home watches TV. But then when I moved out, I'm like, now I know better. I
Mm.
know what I want in a TV. So when I was busy shopping, I'm like, which one do I want? I'm like, I want it to have this, I want it to have that. Why?
The whole
Because
thing.
I and now the TV that I have is fantastic. I love her so much. My TV stand, fantastic.
Yep.
I'd never bought a couch before.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the one we have at home. I'm like, couch is couch. I didn't have problem with it. Now I can see based on my mistake that couch is in fact not couch. You
It's
get
a
what
fantastic expense that you have to just dedicate yourself to it. With my
Mm,
TV stand, I had bought like a basic one, and
mm,
I bought a fantastic TV because again, I'm very big on having good tech.
mm.
Every time I would sit on the couch and watch the TV was fine, but you see the stand that was beneath it. I was so annoyed. Like I used to be like, why do I have this TV stand? Like why? So I
Mm.
sold it on Facebook Marketplace, which interestingly it went in about 3 hours. I was surprised someone even wanted to buy it. Like when the lady kept saying, "My husband is on his way," I was like, for this TV stand that I, yeah. What?
It's all this a new hair products. Let me try it. This is you get it was flimsy things that like hindsight I'm like well, that was very stupid. But
Yeah.
like now when I'm aware of what I'm buying, right? Like when was it? I think it was last year sometime. I when I got so much trauma, I got robbed.
Oh yeah, I remember.
My earphones got lost and all of that. And then my mom sent me
Yeah. No, go on. Sorry.
I also have this app on my phone that I'm looking at what I am spending money on. I do my budgets, I do all of that. I do save money now.
Mm-hmm.
And Do I want to use it for panel Absolutely not.
No.
But we will see. Because my head is like, you can't drive it like that. I'm like, I can. But anyway, but
One
like
thing.
now I know what I am spending money on. There's unexpected, like unexpected things, for example, like
Yeah.
this whole thing. I don't have, when they say like have an emergency fund, what I have is like a 32-day or 30-day notice type
Oh yeah, I know
saving.
that. Yeah.
So I don't have any, what's it called, where I put money in case of emergency. I don't like to think like that. I don't like to anticipate.
That you would need money for an emergency. Yeah.
No. So I think now is, what's it called? I'm aware of what I am spending on. Like
Mm.
before, when I would budget for things that I wouldn't budget, like if I want to go out with my friends. It was very, it didn't make sense because like you are going to go out, you
Mm-hmm.
get, and like you have an estimate of how much it is after use. You can do like it does like pie charts and all of that. So you see like okay, this is what how much I spend again, or how much I spend when I go to checkout. So I should adjust my budget anyway.
Yeah.
So now put money aside for if I'm going out or if I want takeout. Once money for takeout has finished, there's now there's food at home.
Yeah.
You get. So I am budgeting in a place of you know what your spending habits are. Do you understand? I'm not lying
To
to
adjust
myself.
yourself. Yeah.
I'm going to spend 100 rand this week on coke. I have a coke problem. Not like cocaine, like the coke, drinking coke problem.
Okay, I didn't hear that. I was going to say speak up because I didn't hear what you said, but now I get you.
Of
Yeah.
drinking coke. Right now it's like I bought now. And like yesterday I didn't have any coke. And like I saw that my head was paining me. I'm like, very good. Very aware that this is a problem. Will I
It's a
stop? No.
problem. Yeah.
Mhm. No, like this is how much coke I drink in a week. I will not lie to myself and say I am cutting down and I'm going to drink less. I will not drink less. Let's not lie. So I'm honest in my spending. And it's a voice that when I'm about to start spending on rubbish, like don't do it, though. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't
Will
do
I
this.
do
Yeah.
it? Yeah. So I'm getting better. I'm a lot better than what I was last year. It's just like the unexpected
Yeah, no,
5,000.
unexpected expenses are not easy. I mean, I know we're already running out of time, but I just
Mm,
remember something that happened where I was planning to sell my car, so I canceled the insurance on it and I was
mm,
going to sell it and then it got stolen. Yeah. It got stolen from a parking lot at the botanical garden in Johannesburg. Like I parked it, went into the parking lot, and by the time I came out, the whole car was gone. So if you're talking about an unexpected, it was that because you know how public transport is in Johannesburg, where you're trying to go straight, you have to stand. There are no bus stop names on the buses. It's not like London, right? Where it's like you can say, "Oh, this bus is going here. It will stop here. Let me get on." So I was at the bus stop doing this, shouting, "Shut
mm,
left, shut right,"
mm,
and then
oh,
at
but
one point I was just like, "Okay, I have to." Again, even though I made a lot of money and I had money saved up, I was now of that mindset of let me rather adjust myself to the discomfort because I'm
mm,
not going to be here for much longer.
mm,
But thankfully, I talked myself out of it and rather just said, let me just go pick up a car at the
mm,
dealership. And
mm,
if I have to take like a loan to pay off like a bit of it, that's fine. Rather than me standing at the bus stop trying to figure out signs. Sometimes you're doing this, you're doing that. It wasn't working out. So like it just, I was struggling. Like, or sometimes some people would be at the bus stop doing this. What is this?
I know. I think this is straight. I'm not familiar.
There
I'm
was
not
this.
familiar. I'm not familiar. I know this. I don't know where we're going, but I know this. Like with the insurance, I think another episode will talk about like medical aid and all of that and like health stuff. But one thing I have noticed, noticed as in like insurance, I always pay for it.
Yeah.
Gap cover. I will always pay for it.
Mhm.
Like I think it was a few months ago. I'm like, Brian really need gap cover. And I remember something that had happened like with my parents. I'm like, you need gap cover. You need it. But
Yeah.
the moment that you cancel that gap cover,
Something
the
goes wrong.
moment
Yeah.
things go wrong, or even if you change, like I know with my parents, they changed from something to something. I don't remember, but it caused an issue. And I'm like, the moment you say, I don't need it, something's not going to happen.
Yep.
You will not be there. They will not give you a bill of like 200,000.
Yep.
Discovery will be like, I can only pay 80,000. 120,000 from whence are
Yeah.
you supposed to? So, insurance, car insurance, all of that, I will continue to pay for it
I like
against my best.
it was ridiculous. This was the car I was selling the following week, and then now it was gone.
I will cry. Like, what do you
You know,
mean?
the funny thing is, I was frozen. I couldn't even cry. When the police came and I just told them everything that happened, and they just asked me a couple of questions and all that. It was the next day when I woke up and I had to go to work, and the car wasn't there in the garage, that I started
Like,
weeping.
what do you mean? How do you steal a car? Because also now you come out and you are looking around that I know I parked it here, but
Morayo,
maybe
I still
somebody.
have the car key, the two keys. I still have the keys there. Oh God, that was a traumatic experience. But yeah, but this has been a great conversation, man. Like just talking about money is always an interesting thing. I think it's always important. Make sure your money is working for you. Make sure you're spending your money to make your life better, easier. That would be my thing now. And as you get more comfortable, really start to examine your relationship with money. I think is what I can help people. But also that doesn't mean you should be reckless, right? Like you can save, you should save, not even you can. You should save, but not at the expense of things that would impact your quality of life. I think
Mm.
that's my big thing. Like your quality of life should be one that you are happy with. And then, yeah, because people always like save first and then make do with whatever is left. And I guess you could do that. But in this cost of living crisis,
So now